This material is made available to you by or on behalf of the University of Melbourne under Section 113P of the Copyright Act 1968. It may be subject to copyright. For more information, visit the University Copyright website.
Guys, just letting you know, we'll start in about 5 minutes, but we will definitely finish by 4 o'clock or before, so we won't keep you here any longer. But yeah, we'll just give people a few more minutes to arrive. Hi guys, how are you today? Thanks so much for coming. My name's Jackie. I'm the Student Recruitment Manager in the School of Engineering, and obviously here to talk to you about an engineering pathway via the Bachelor of Commerce. So this is actually the first time we've run a session like this, so hopefully it covers everything that you need to know. It is going to get fairly detailed in terms of course planning and subject selection, so please do take notes, but we'll also make sure that this information is available to you afterwards. So firstly, I just wanted to flag our PRE-ENG club with you. So it's basically a community of undergraduate students who are studying at the University of Melbourne. We have a couple of events each semester, so some of them are social events, some of them are more, I guess, industry linked, so we've had a couple of site visits, for example, to the Carlton United Breweries and also Boeing Australia to see their operations, and we send out a newsletter a couple of times in a semester to let you know about these sorts of things and opportunities to ask questions as well. So you can join via the link there, or if you just Google PRE-ENG Club UniMelb, it'll be the first result that comes up. And if you join and then you decide you don't want to be a member, you can unsubscribe at any time. So I thought I'd just mention the range of courses that we have in the School of Engineering. So the main one, of course, is the Master of Engineering, and that's what I assume you're interested in. But I will also talk a little bit about the Master of Information Technology and the Master of Information Systems. They're both fairly popular with Bachelor of Commerce students as well. A couple of other courses that we get a lot of questions about are the Master of Science, Computer Science, and Master of Data Science. Perhaps less relevant for you guys in terms of your undergraduate program, but just flagging that those are actually Faculty of Science courses, so I won't talk about those. Also wanted to let you know for 2019 we have 2 new specialisations. So in the Master of Engineering we have Mechanical with Aerospace available, and in the Master of Information Technology we have a Cybersecurity stream. So students are commencing in those streams this year, and then obviously by the time you get to that point we'll have been teaching them for 3 years. Okay, so mainly going to talk about the Master of Engineering. And I should add, feel free to pop your hand up and ask a question at any time if you've got one, but we'll stay afterwards as well to answer questions. So the Master of Engineering has what we call dual accreditation. So that means it's accredited with 2 different bodies. One is Engineers Australia, and that is the body that accredits all engineering degrees in Australia. So that's pretty standard. But we also have accreditation with EURACE, which is the Continental European Accreditation. And EURACE only accredits master's degrees. It means that you can work in Europe and your degree's automatically recognised. You don't have to get it assessed for equivalency, essentially. So that's pretty special. We have 13 main specialisations listed down the bottom. And within those you would pursue an area of technical interest by doing advanced technical electives, and you can also do an internship subject within those specialisations. So if you registered via Eventbrite, I think we asked which area you were interested in, but I imagine you're not too sure at this point. You're still trying to make some decisions, and I'll show you later how you can keep your options open as well. We also have the Master of Engineering with Business. It is a course where the subjects were co-developed and co-taught by Melbourne Business School. So the difference there is there are 5 business subjects that have been developed especially for engineers, and they're listed down there. You can see they kind of cover a little bit across all different disciplines of business. So if you are intending to major in 1 or 2 areas, you might find those particular subjects a bit repetitive, but you'll still be exposed to content that you might not otherwise have studied. It's really a personal choice whether you want to do the main course without the business subjects, or you want to do the business specialisation. This one's only available in the 6 streams listed there, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. Okay, so you might have seen this diagram somewhere along the line. The sort of standard way to study engineering at Melbourne, you take an engineering systems major in one of the pathway degrees, and then you go into a 2-year Master of Engineering. Obviously that doesn't apply to you in this situation. You're going to be under this category, so any bachelor degree with relevant maths and science prerequisites, which I'll talk about, you can go into a 3-year Master of Engineering. So this is kind of what the 3-year Master of Engineering looks like. At this point, if you have a bachelor degree and a 65% weighted average mark, you can't do the Master of Engineering. Does anybody know why? What's missing? Your maths and science prerequisites. So once you've got those specific maths and science prerequisites, there's no barriers to entering the Master of Engineering. So you will need to complete those at some point during your Bachelor of Commerce in order to meet the entry requirements. So this is what your Bachelor of Commerce looks like. You can do up to 6 breadth subjects, minimum of 4. And if you did that and you used, at this point you still can't do the Master of Engineering because you're not doing the specific maths and science subjects. But if you do the maths and science, then you're fine. Now the catch is the rules of your Bachelor of Commerce only allow you to do 3 level 1 breadth subjects, which means you have to do an extra one at some point through something called the Community Access Program, which is sort of a weird name for doing a single subject that's not attached to a specific degree. This means you'll be doing 25 subjects over the next 3 years. The good news is that we will fund that subject for you, so you don't have any additional fees associated, but at some point you're going to have to do an extra subject. So is anyone here got a graduate degree package? Okay, so in your case, slightly different. The rules have been bent for you guys, so you can do 4 subjects in your Bachelor of Commerce, 4 level 1s in your Bachelor of Commerce. Yep. Yeah, in the study plan, yeah. So I think just submit an enrolment variation form and explain you have a graduate degree package and you're allowed to do 4 level 1s. This is the first year that we have that arrangement, so there might be some teething issues, but if you have any issues with that, just let me know, and I've got my contact details on the final slide and I can follow that up for you. Sorry? 4 level 1s. Oh, the form. It's called an enrolment variation form. It's online through your portal, I believe. Okay, so does that make sense? So for those of you who don't have a graduate degree package, you'll have to do an extra subject through CAP, but it won't cost you anything. For those of you with a graduate degree package, you can do all 4 in your Bachelor of Commerce. Okay, so moving on to the maths subjects in particular, some areas of engineering require specific maths subjects and others don't. The vast majority of them require Calculus 2 and linear algebra. Or we can also accept accelerated maths 1 and 2, which are a higher level maths. If you were thinking of software or spatial, then any 2 level 1 maths. So that might be Calculus 1 and Calculus 2, or Calculus 1 and linear algebra, if you are eligible to go straight into or to skip Calc 1, then that's fine, you can do that as well. Does that make sense? This is all on our website, and this part with the prerequisites is in the handbook. So this is how you can tell whether you need to do Calculus 1 or not. So it depends on your study score in BCE Specialist Maths. So if you didn't do Specialist, you definitely need to do Calculus 1. If your study score is below 27, then you would need to do Calculus 1. If it's between 27 and 29, do linear algebra first and then do Calculus 2. Does that make sense? If you didn't do VCE, if you did a different type of maths, I believe Stop 1 can help you work out which maths you need to do. So, who thinks they need to do Calculus 1? Okay. So overall, that means you actually have to do 5 level 1 subjects to meet the entry requirements or the prerequisites for the Master of Engineering. So what you need to do is obviously do Calc 1 first, and then you'll need to do 2 CAP subjects at some stage. We'll pay for 1 subject, and then the other one, you have a couple of options. If you are a domestic student, you can take it as what they call enabling study, which means you can defer the fees like you are with your Commonwealth supported place. Otherwise, you can pay it up front. But be aware that the fees for CAP are not subsidised, so they're significantly more expensive than your bachelor degree. Any questions? Yep.
Is there a difference if you take calculus 2 or accelerated maths?
No, there isn't, not for engineering, but I guess I'm thinking of them as pairs. So if you did Calc 2 and linear algebra, that's fine. If you did accelerated maths 1 and 2, that's fine. If you started on accelerated maths 1 and then decided you didn't want to do the second subject and you wanted to do one of the other maths, we probably need to find out which one and how that would work. Yeah, it's a fairly unusual scenario, so I don't think I've come across that one yet, but just contact me and we can find out. Okay, so moving on to the science prerequisites. So depending on the engineering major, they might be physics, chemistry, biology based, computer science or programming, or a little bit more general. So physics is electrical, mechanical, and mechatronics. Chemistry, chemical and bioengineering. Biology, bioengineering, computer science and programming will be software. And then civil, environmental and spatial are fairly flexible. So they kind of say relevant science. Check with me if you're going to do something that you think is a little bit out of the box, let me know. So to give you an example, earth sciences subjects are fine for civil, but biology is not. So it really depends. And we're working on actually getting that information published for students, but just check with me in the meanwhile. Yep.
So say you're going into mechanical engineering.
Yep.
Does that mean you would do 2 physics subjects?
Yep. Yep. So conveniently, they're called Physics 1 and Physics 2. But yes, you do 2 from the same discipline for whichever area of engineering you're looking at. So this is kind of how you can keep your options open. So you do have to kind of decide, are you going down the physics route, chemistry, biology, computer science, or something else? But if you chose physics, then you could still go into electrical, mechanical, mechatronics, as well as civil, environmental, and spatial. So pretty flexible there. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to show you how you can shorten your Master of Engineering ever so slightly, if the stars align. Okay, so you're starting off with your say you just do those 4 prerequisites in your bachelor, your 3-year Master of Engineering is loosely structured as, you know, the first year is foundation, the second year is core, and the final year is advanced. Now, the foundation subjects are actually level 2 and 3 subjects, which means they're accessible to you as an undergraduate student while you're doing your bachelor degree. So what you can do is actually do some of them as breadth subjects. This example is maximising the number of breadth subjects you're allowed to do, so a total of 6, which means that's 3 less that you need to do in your masters. Now, 3 doesn't really get you a whole semester off, but you might be able to do a summer at some point. If you do the internship subject, that's usually in the holidays as well. So it can be shortened to 2.5 years. It just depends on subject availability and the sequence that you need to take them in, but it is an option. Does that make sense? Yep.
As for the BCom, we would choose to pursue mathematical background.
Yeah, I probably, I guess I've just copied a BCom course plan from somewhere. Oh, you're saying like the economics major with the maths? Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's probably, when it comes to course planning in your BCom, that's something to check with Stop 1. If they're not sure how that works with what you need to do for engineering, they'll contact me. So I guess my expertise is more about the breadth subjects than the structure of the Bachelor of Commerce. So I don't want to say, yes, that's fine, or no, that's not. I'm a bit rusty with the structure of the Bachelor of Commerce. So just check with Stop 1, you know, when you've sort of laid out your plan of what you think you want to do, check with them that it'll meet the requirements of the BCom, but also meet the entry requirements for Master of Engineering. Yep. No, it has to be math subjects from science. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So next I'm going to talk a little bit about IT. I know you came here to hear about engineering, but some of you might consider something else after your Bachelor of Commerce, but I'll be fairly brief. So lots of different options to study IT at Melbourne. You can do IT in your breadth subjects. You can also do the diploma in computing, which would take you an extra semester and up to an extra year. And depending on what you've done, you could go into the Master of Engineering. So some of those listed there are kind of have an IT flavour. So mechatronics is a blend of software, mechanical and electrical engineering. Obviously software with business, and also spatial has a strong IT element. And then I'll talk a little bit about the Master of Information Technology. So this is a fairly technical course. It's 2 years in length if you don't have an IT background. And it's really about programming and building applications. So there are 5 different specialisations listed there. And you do need at least 1 university level programming prerequisite for this course. So Foundations of Computing or Foundations of Algorithms would meet that requirement. The next one is the Master of Information Systems. So this one's quite popular with Bachelor of Commerce graduates. This is more about the intersection of business and technology and how you can use technology to improve business processes or implement technology in a business. So it's more the strategy side of technology rather than the technical programming side of things. So it's definitely one to keep in mind. There are no specific prerequisites for this one, so You just have to finish your bachelor degree with the 65% weighted average mark. And I asked the course coordinator, you know, what's your ideal student? Like, you know, you say you'll take, it doesn't matter if people have done arts or commerce or science, but surely there's an ideal course. And he said it really doesn't matter, absolutely. It really works for any background, so it doesn't matter what your major is either. Just really quickly run through some of the practical industry opportunities we have available, and some of those are things that you can get involved in now. Obviously, the university has a big annual careers fair that's coming up soon, next week, I think, with top employers. So it's good to start going to those straight away. Even if you don't say a word to anyone, at least you get a sense of what it's all about, and start to see, you know, who are the companies and what do they do, and get a little bit of an insight there. We have a partnership with Google, so we do a lot of events for current students whilst they're studying their masters. There are internships available through the Master of Engineering, Master of IT and the Master of Information Systems. Melbourne Accelerator program is something that you might want to get involved in now. So that's basically, if you're interested in entrepreneurship or startups, having your own business, that's a great program to be involved in. They run information sessions and events and talks on entrepreneurship, and then you can also, if you get together with some friends and you have a bit of an idea that you want to pitch, they have a pitching competition where you can win prize money and office space and mentoring, and people head off to Silicon Valley and all sorts. So there's a fairly strong, I guess, technology element there, but the teams are usually multidisciplinary. So you might bring your commerce skills and you might have someone else in your team who's actually studying IT or studying the engineering major, for example. We also have the Endeavour exhibition in October each year, so look out for that later in the year. It's basically an opportunity for our master's students to showcase their final year projects, their capstone projects, and that's great to be able to see what they get up to. They build drones and do all sorts of amazing things. We also have a range of student clubs and societies that welcome membership from undergraduate students. So if you have an interest in a particular discipline, have a look for the corresponding club and join up with them. So here are some examples of capstone projects that our students have done in the past. They can be research-based or industry-based, and some students actually end up taking these to market as a startup, or it becomes commercialised through industry contacts. So it's a really good opportunity to connect directly with industry. If you do engineering, I think the blend of engineering and commerce is going to be really powerful for you in terms of your career. You really do have the opportunity to go into a more technical engineering role, but also alternative careers like consulting and government and that sort of thing. So, you know, we end up with students going to banks, professional services firms quite often, and they might never actually be a technical engineer in that role, but the problem-solving skills and the analytical skills are really what those companies are wanting. Obviously, we have students going into technology companies all the time, and then your more traditional engineering companies as well. So, and I've obviously listed like lots of, you know, big brand names that you might recognise, but there are plenty of opportunities in small to medium enterprises as well. So I've sort of mentioned this throughout, but just to summarise the entry requirements for the Master of Engineering, 25 points, so 2 subjects of relevant maths subjects and 2 relevant level 1 science subjects, and a 65% weighted average mark. Master of Information Technology, 1 programming subject, and the 65%, and information systems, no specific prerequisites, just the 65%. You obviously need to finish your undergraduate degree, and if you've completed all your study here, then it's quite simple to apply. You would apply in your final semester. You don't need to provide any additional documents or anything like that. If you go on exchange or you've done something overseas, then we'd like to see those transcripts. I think there's a fair amount of confusion over the fees at graduate level. So if you are a domestic student and you've done an undergraduate degree at the University of Melbourne, you are guaranteed a Commonwealth supported place if you meet the entry requirements for the course. So that means it basically works exactly the same way that it does for your Bachelor of Commerce. I think the student contribution amount is slightly lower. It's just in a different band to commerce. But other than that, it works exactly the same way. And for international students, the fees would be similar as well. You can also defer your student contribution through HEX Help. It all works exactly the same way. So hopefully there's less confusion there. And last but not least, if you do experience anything during your undergraduate studies that impact on your grades, you can also apply for graduate access, which basically means you can tell us, it might be an illness, it might just be personal circumstances. There's various categories listed there, and we will consider that in addition to your grades. Okay, so don't forget to join the PRE-ENG club so we can keep in touch with you. There are my contact details. I've also got some business cards down here, so if you want to come and grab one, you're more than welcome to. My colleague Monica is up the front here and she can help answer questions if you want to ask any one-on-one. But are there any general questions at the moment? Yep.
With your red subjects that aren't maths or science,
Yep.
does that really make sure they're not level 1 subjects?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you'll have used up all of your level 1s. So you might do, like if you wanted to do the engineering, for example, engineering maths is pretty much in all of the engineering specialisations except for software and spatial. So you could easily do that one. There are also a handful of university breadth subjects that don't have prerequisites, but they're level 2 or 3. So it might be just a little bit more challenging to find the subjects, but there are subjects out there. Yeah. Or you could do, I guess, level 2 physics or, carry on from where you're at. Yeah. Yep.
Which branch is the engineering?
Oh, good question. So which branch or which engineering specialisation sort of best matches with a commerce degree? I mean, you could probably ask that question of 5 different people and get 5 different answers. For example, biomedical engineering is very much about startups and entrepreneurship at the moment. So if you're, have an interest in that, your commerce degree is obviously going to be fantastic in that context. But if you think about something like civil engineering, project management is a big part of that. So your skills would come into that as well. So, yeah, I don't know if there is an answer really. Like chemical engineering, they really focus a lot on return on investment for a process and, optimizing the process to get the highest return on investment. So there's definitely a link there. So I think you could probably draw links regardless of the specialisation. So I'd suggest kind of think about what science subjects you've done, which ones did you enjoy, sort of go from there, see if there's any areas of engineering that particularly appeal to you. Yep. Was there a question down here somewhere before? Yeah. Okay, sounds like that's it. I believe the session's been recorded as well, so I think it'll be available somewhere on the BCom orientation site, something like that. But yeah, if you are confused about anything I've said, just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks so much for coming, guys.
Might be a question for Jackie, unless I can Google it.
Just give me your student ID and which subjects you're planning on doing, and I'll just double check.
I'm sure. Jackie, engineering management, prerequisites.
You need an engineering degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so usually a 4-year Bachelor of Engineering or Master of Engineering.
And experience as well, or just?
No, you don't have to have work experience. Yeah. I feel like I don't know what order's going. Hi. Do you mean in terms of doing being able to do 4 prerequisites or not? Yeah. So, okay, the Chancellor Scholar gets you. You don't need to get 75%, but you need the prerequisites. So everyone needs the prerequisites because it's assumed knowledge. So you're going to have to do engineering maths, and if you haven't done Cap 2 and then algebra, you'll be in trouble. Does that make sense? It's not. It's kind of, I guess, it's obviously a different order of doing it. So you could do, the Master of Management. I guess it's like one of them you would be, definitely. And then one of them you'd be doing 3 years of, say, Bachelor of Commerce. 75% of that is commerce versus 2 years in the Masters. So it would be. And you wouldn't be an engineer at the end, right? So it depends on what you want. So if you did a Bachelor of Science with an engineering systems major and a Master of Management, you're not an engineer. You've done some engineering. So if you wanted to go into consulting, professional services, that's fine. Like they don't care that you don't have accreditation, but it's just something to be aware of. Yeah, no problem. Hi. Sure. So you would need to do an extra cap subject. So we'll pay for one, but you'd have to pay for the other one. Yeah, and linear algebra is also available in summer, so you could do them as well. Totally up to you. Yeah, I don't think I think they just generally say don't do the 2 maths simultaneously. But yeah, other than that, up to you. And then you would need to do the 2 science separately through, through CAP. and we'll pay for one of those. Yeah. Oh, I believe it's just very hard. It's just very challenging. So that's what I've heard. Yeah. I mean, you can do it if you want, but they don't recommend it. One cap subject.
We'll look it up.
Yeah.
So which
Basically, when you're when
subject?
you've run out of level ones and you need to do more, that's when you'd be looking to do cap.
Oh,
just
so
contact
you're not
me
talking about a
at that
particular
point.
subject, you're talking about
So maybe at the end of next semester, end of the year, kind of say, okay, this is what I need to
And
do.
also, this,
Cap, and
I
we'll
think someone asked that
together with
question.
Stopline, we'll work out when you're going to do that.
This breadth subject,
And we'll
like level
do the-
1 breadth subject
There's a
counts
process that
as
we follow.
the level 1 in general. So
Yeah.
is it like, so breadth subject
No,
counts
cap just means you're enrolled in the
Yeah,
subject
so you can only
by
do
itself, like
e-commerce,
it's
you can
not
only do
underneath the
3
degree.
level 1 breadth
So
subjects.
you can do cap in summer, but you could do your linear algebra is your breadth subject in summer, and then in another semester be enrolled in 3 Bachelor of Commerce subjects and 1 cap subject. Yeah, I know it's complicated, but it's flexible, I guess. Yeah, no problem. Hi.
Sorry, Jackie, the physics,
Hang
sorry,
on 1 second,
the
sorry.
physics prerequisite that they need for mechatronics, but is that, if he's done physics in year 12, it's not the same?
No, it's
No.
not the same.
Yeah.
It's university level physics.
Yep.
So physics 1.
Physics 1 and physics 2. So
He's been told that physics 1 at university is pretty easy and it's the same as year
there are
12.
3 different physics 1 subjects. So do the one that's the next step up from what you've done.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Question.
Sorry.
Will the foundation of physics count?
Yep. Okay. Hi.
So I'm doing the graduate degree in math history.
Yeah, great.
So I can do 4 level 1 breadth subjects.
Yes, great.
Okay, but I heard earlier like you need a form or something.
Enrollment variation form.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like do I just go up to stop 1 and then just ask them for
Yeah.
a form or something? Okay.
Or actually, it might be available online on your LMS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have a look on there as well before you go to stop 1.
Okay. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
That's okay.
Just a follow up with that's the question.
Yeah, sure.
Will foundation of physics count as level 1? I think I'm eligible for that.
As in, you're eligible for credit for that, or?
For like level 1 science subject.
So you basically
So instead of
So have you done it, you mean, or have you enrolled
like
in
applying
it?
for a course.
yeah,
to
I didn't do like
you apply
physics
for CAP,
in my year 12.
Yeah.
So
when it comes
if
time
I did like
to do
foundation
that,
of physics, would that count as level 1 subject? One of the
so do you need
science.
to do
Or should I like I don't know.
So let me just see. So what sort of engineering are you talking about?
Let's say mechatronics, yeah.
Okay. Into requirements.
So there'll be like 2 science.
right.
What does it say?
I just don't know if we
The
pay
equivalent 25 points of physics.
like we'll pay
So
for
it doesn't say.
Cup 1.
What kind of physics?
Yeah.
So you could be like
And then you
just
can do
most
4
basics
in
kind of
Bachelor of
physics.
Commerce and 1 through CAP that we'll pay for.
Doesn't say it.
But
Doesn't
yeah,
have a
you
link to
basically
that.
just apply online. And
Yeah, so
if it's
Jackie
one
was
that
just
we
saying
need
that
to
there's
pay
3
for,
types of physics
there's
available.
process
So
that I go through
all of those are
to
level
make sure
1.
it's feasible.
Or maybe one
But
is
once, when you're ready
physics
to
2.
do it,
The
just
2
let
of
me
them
know
must
and I
be.
can guide you.
So as long as you've got 2 physics in your undergraduate, you can get into the Masters of Mechatronics with a
Because
65%
summer
average.
next year is.
Hold on, you need 2 physics subjects to get into mechatronics?
Yeah, so 2 physics
Oh, it says like.
and
Oh,
2 subjects of maths. So calculus 2
But if
and
you
linear
just
algebra
Google, like,
and
CAP
2 physics.
email, like they've got all the
So in normal sense, like,
application deadlines.
so you
listed
usually
there.
like,
They're fairly
if not
generous,
foundation of
like it's
physics,
quite-
could
they'll
be
take
just
applications kind of,
physics
I
and
don't
then
know,
another
2 weeks
advanced
before the
physics.
start of
Physics
the
1 and
semester.
physics 2, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe summer they probably go to
Right.
about the 10th of December because of Christmas.
But what if I do like, if I want to broaden my options, I choose chemistry and then physics. Would that?
I think that he put it up on the slide. So let me see. This one. So physics will get you majors in electrical, mechanical and mechatronics and civil, environmental and spatial. Okay? So if you want to do chemistry, you have to do 2 chemical prerequisites.
for
ticket to do chemical engineering.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I have to do two physics to get into mechatronics.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, that is a must then. I thought like I could like do all this kind of thing, and that would be count as two science subjects as well.
No, so 2 physics and
Yeah.
2 maths.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, another thing.
I'll just.
I didn't think the
As for the
subject
math,
name had changed, but
I don't really understand
maybe
the
it
list
has.
because there are no grids on it.
Okay, so linear algebra
Yeah.
or calculus 2 and calculus 2, sorry.
Yep.
Yep.
So this is pretty standard.
Did you do
Those are for,
algorithmics
like,
in BCE
all-
or
all-
anything
all
like
the way
that?
to
You done any
structure.
programming before?
And for the
no.
software and
Okay.
spatial,
I only
okay.
did physics.
it is
that's
easier
alright.
relatively.
Yeah,
It should be this
calculus
one,
1, so
Foundations
each
of
one's in
Computing.
calculus 2.
Yeah. So it assume like you have already taken one.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. But to get into software, you also need two science subjects.
Yeah, foundation of computing.
Yeah.
Yes, so you need, what was that slide?
Foundation of
Any
computing.
Yep.
relevant.
So that'll be one prerequisite.
Actually, like, what is the
And I
difference
need to
between
call
software
65%,
engineering
and I can do the masters.
master?
And I've also
so
seen that
IT
the
is
masters
like
can
the
take 1 year,
programming side
1.5 years, or 2 years.
Yep.
So how can I make it like 1 year?
The 1 year option is if you've got, like if you did the diploma in computing, that would reduce the length by 6 months. And then if you had work experience, relevant work experience, it can go down to 1 year.
If not, it's usually 2
It
years.
would be 2 years.
Okay, and another question.
Well,
What
you mean like
was it?
software engineering might be
forgot.
more technical
Yeah.
than
Let's say if I'm doing BCom now,
Yep.
and I'm going back to my home country
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
work,
Software
or
engineering.
maybe anything else.
Yeah.
How is
And
it
can I
exactly
come back
differentiate
to do the masters, and the
between,
prerequisite will
software
still be the same?
It
right?
should be, yeah. So, you know, unless something changes over time. So you do have to, I guess, you know,
At
the
that
information we're
moment,
giving you
okay.
today is correct today.
Okay.
As far as I know, there's no plans to change
So
it.
till then, the foundation of
And like
computing will be
MIT
valid as a
Yeah,
prerequisite.
yeah. And there's always online computing subjects you can do that are quite inexpensive and quick, in that you don't have to wait for like the formal semester to start. So if there's, you know, if we go, oh, you did it too long ago or something,
Yeah, it may
it's
have
pretty
some-
easy to brush up on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you very much.
you're welcome.
How can I contact you? Okay, thank you.
No problem. Hi.
If you were explaining the software engineering, difference between software engineering and Masters of IT,
Yep.
Master in IT.
So software's a bit more of a focus on large-scale projects. So if you think of the system that operates Nike, as you know, successfully as it does, that would have taken thousands and thousands of lines of code and teams of software engineers to build such a complex system. Compared to a game on your phone that's pretty simple. Like one person could, you know, code that in however long, I guess, depends on how long it takes them. So it's really just the scale of it and the complexity. Yeah.
So the engineers can handle more complex systems.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have a better opportunity than this mere IT.
Yeah, and I think usually if you think about the type of organisation, the bigger companies are more likely to be hiring software engineers, and smaller companies might tend towards IT, Master of IT. It's not like they have a blanket rule of we'll never hire someone with this course. It's just that's the type of work that they do. You know, in a big organisation, you're one of many working in teams doing a little bit towards this bigger project, whereas in a small company you might be the only IT person and you're responsible for everything that they're doing, but it's obviously less complex. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you for the clarification.
No worries.
Just another quick question.
Yeah.
So as an international student, to work as a IT person or software engineer, do you have to have the accreditation as like the engineering?
To work as a software engineer, you have to have
You have to have that.
the accreditation.
Yeah. But how about an IT, just general IT person?
No, you can get a job as an IT person with, you know, whatever kind of qualification you like. It just depends what the job's asking for and what sort of level of job. So if you have a look out there, do a bit of research on LinkedIn and what sort of degrees they're asking for, and that will give you an idea of the types of jobs that will help you get to where you want to go. Yeah.
So it's like many companies, like they don't really require a degree. Instead, like they will ask for like just like a boot camp would be fine. A boot camp for 3 months, or even selfless. So I don't know like about Australia, but in the United States, it's pretty common to see like you know, software engineer without a degree. I don't know how it works in Australia though.
Yeah. Look, if you're competing with someone without a degree, you're going to be more employable.
Of course.
So it just depends what level you're going to. We've sort of done the research comparing undergraduate and graduate degree graduates to see which ones earn more, and a person with a master's degree earns a lot more and is more employable than a person with just an undergraduate degree. So that's based on our research and the time higher ed research as well. But it depends what sort of job you want and what sort of opportunities. You know, you might want to go out and work for a few years based on your undergraduate degree, and then do a master's later on, or you might want to do an MBA after a few years' work. It just depends what avenue you end up going down. Yeah. Obviously, if you wanted to be a civil engineer, you wouldn't be able to work as a civil engineer unless you've got a master's in civil engineering.
Yeah, of course, that is that is like legit engineering.
Yeah, it's like if you want to be a doctor, you have to have a medical license. But yeah, IT is one of those tricky areas that
kind of a grey area.
and you can do a startup with no experience, really, can't you? It just depends what your level is.
Yeah, because I've been learning Python recently. Do you know Python, a programming language?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to learn actually.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if I change.
That's going to be a good balance for you, or a good tool for you. So
software.
Yeah.
I want to do more IT subject in my BCom.
Yeah, great, excellent.
But I don't. Do you have like a breadth track for IT? IT breadth track? Because I don't see that on website.
Well, you can do IT in your as your breadth subject if you like. Yeah.
I know we can
like a
actually
foundation
start.
of computing, or if you're beyond that, you can do a higher level subject, depending on meeting prerequisites. So yeah, definitely it's good complementary. I mean, everything is IT.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a skill that's not going to be wasted. Yeah.
I know programming will be really useful for future jobs.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Good luck.
Yeah. What's your name?
Monica.
Monica. My name's Frederick.
Frederick, nice to meet you. You enjoying your first week?
Yes, I should have been here for 1 year already.
Oh, okay.
So I know the campus.
Oh, you know it. Easy. See you later, Frederick.
Probably. I don't know a lot about data science, all I know is what I read in brochure about it. So I would send an inquiry on the science website. So look up the Master of Data Science and then send an inquiry through their website, because that'll go through to the Faculty of Science, and then they can advise you. Yeah, but there's a data science major in the Bachelor of Science. So
There's only masters degree data science.
So isn't that what you're asking me? You don't want to do a master's?
Yeah, I'm asking that there isn't present any bachelor degree of data science. Only the master degree.
There's a Bachelor of Science with the major in data science.
I don't think so. It's present currently.
Yeah.
This is the second question. Like the first question is what's the entry requirement from